Hello, my name is Dawn H. Jones and I'm the Managing Director of Hope Place HR. We help organisations deal with challenging and often frustrating problems so that they can focus on their priorities and build successful, thriving teams. Now, before we get into today's video, can I ask you a favour? Would you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so? And we thank you in advance for you actually subscribing, so thanks. So, to today's topic. The topic is called, Please Don't Volunteer for Injustice. Now, you may think that's a strange title. And anyway, who would volunteer for injustice? Unfortunately, it happens. But before we look at that particular subject, let's define the word volunteer and injustice. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, a volunteer means a person who undertakes or expresses a willingness to undertake a service. And injustice means the absence of justice or the violation of the rights of another. Okay, so in other words, what I'm saying is, please don't volunteer to violate the rights of another person. But what does that look like in the workplace? Let's consider this scenario. In a meeting one day, Jack Jackson, a head of service, says to his group of his direct reports, I want an options paper to get rid of Ted. HR says we don't have grounds for disciplinary proceedings, but I don't want him in my team. But as you all know, Ted's manager left last week, so I need some help pulling together an options paper and quick. So, who's up for it? There's silence in the room, but interestingly, no one speaks out against Jackson's proposal. Not one person. Then finally, one of the more ambitious team members, Pippin, pipes up and says, I've got some capacity, I'll help you come up with some options. Great, replies Jack. The options got to sound legit, right? And once you've got some ideas, let's meet in person and discuss them. No need to put anything in writing at this point, all right? Just like that, Pippin volunteers to violate the rights of one of his colleagues. He doesn't think about how his actions will affect his colleague's health and well-being or his future earning potential. Pippin explicitly volunteers without second thought, doesn't miss a beat. The critical thing is that he volunteers. He had the agency to say no, but he opted to say yes. And although his colleagues remained silent, one could also argue that their silence made them complicit in Jackson's plan. So that's also something to bear in mind. Now, other examples of volunteering for injustice includes submitting false statements to disciplinary proceedings. Who would have thought it? Or perverting policies and processes to get the desired outcome. Or even mounting bullying and harassment campaigns to drive someone out of the workplace and oftentimes drive them out of their minds, literally. The list could go on. However, I hope you get the point. Now, there are many reasons to avoid that miry pit, but here are 7. Number 1, it's plain wrong and will in all likelihood violate your duty to maintain trust and confidence under your employment contract. Number 2, you are responsible for your actions or inactions, even if a senior manager asks you to carry out a particular instruction. 3, your unjust actions may come to light. 4, you may find yourself solely responsible for the injustice if the person who presented the idea, i.e. Jack in the first place, can plausibly deny that they were involved. Aka, there's no paper trail. Also, you may be subject to disciplinary action up to and including dismissal. And 7, you may have to appear as a witness or respondent in an employment tribunal. Volunteering for injustice will damage your integrity and could cost you financially too. So remember, you have free reign and agency over your decisions. So please don't volunteer to violate the employment rights of others. You're much better than that. So choose well. Thank you for listening. And remember, be HR wise. Bye-bye.